Hey guys, what's up? This is going to be my Snoke Episode 8 video, just talking about the backstory that they've explained so far. There are a lot of great theories about Snoke. There's the Mace Windu theory. I'll do videos for that stuff too, but that's a little crazier. This is based on the information that's actually canon that they've revealed to us. There is a new round of the Star Wars giveaway for IMAX tickets. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to click that bell to enable alerts. I usually make important announcements at the end of videos. Most of what we know about Snoke's backstory comes through other characters' backstories. The Aftermath tie-in book series for Episode 7. There were a couple novels that was Aftermath, Aftermath Life, Dead, that sort of explained what was going on with the First Order, the lead-in to Episode 7. So a lot of people ask, why wasn't he around during the original trilogy? Why didn't they write him in the way they're filling in gaps in the canon, like they did during Rogue One with the big weakness in the Death Star? They're sewing up a lot of the logic. They haven't said how old he is, but they did say that he's a humanoid alien. He's not a former human. He used to be handsome, but was twisted by the dark side of the Force. He has that giant scar running down his forehead, clearly a battle. He has sort of like a burn mark that causes him to speak in a funny way. So you know that through the practice of the dark side of the Force, he got into battles, was scarred, but survived, and is now the de facto leader for the opposition to the Jedi. So we still have Jedi because Luke Skywalker still exists. There was the new Jedi Order. He was part of another group of dark side Force users that were not associated with the Sith that rose up after the fall of the Emperor. We knew Princess Leia was aware of him during the rise of the New Republic, knew he was a dark side Force user, knew that her son Ben was susceptible to that, chose not to warn Han Solo about him because she felt it was her duty to protect her son because she was Force sensitive. She wanted him with Luke. There were a lot of those moments during The Force Awakens where you get the sense that she made a lot of errors that led to her and Han Solo splitting up. People are like, how come they're divorced? How come they're not together anymore? But they really brushed over a lot of those details in Episode 7, but it's all there in the expanded materials.
I saw him. Leia, I saw her son. He was here. Every time you look at me, you're reminded of him.
You think I want to forget him? I want him back.
There's nothing more we could have done. There's too much Vader in him.
That's why I wanted him to train with Luke. I just never should have sent him away. That's when I lost him. That's when I lost you both.
We both had to deal with it in our own way. I went back to the only thing I was ever any good at.
We both did.
We lost our son. Forever.
No, it was Snoke. He seduced our son to the dark side, but we can still save him. Me. You.
The other really interesting detail is that Leia and everyone else hid the identity of Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, from Ben growing up. They didn't let him know that his grandfather was Darth Vader. He knew he was a Skywalker, but for some reason they were able to shroud the truth from him. Leia's opposition inside the New Republic, she had political enemies, used that information against her, so she was forced to tell him. He felt abandoned, lied to. That's when Snoke was able to turn him to the dark side of the Force, but he was also able to take control of the First Order as it continued to rise. They explained through Leia's story in all these Aftermath books in the lead up to Episode 7 that she saw the threat of the remnants of the Empire, but the New Republic wasn't taking it seriously. They didn't take the First Order seriously, so that's why she left and formed the Resistance to try and fight them independently. And for a brief period, the New Republic would help them out. One of the biggest reasons why the First Order targeted those worlds that were populated by the New Republic was to cut off all the support and resources they were giving to the Resistance. So based on the hierarchy, a lot of people also think that Snoke is somebody that we've seen in the expanded material, but he hasn't become Snoke or taken that name. We know that he's an alien humanoid, but we don't know what his name was before it was Snoke. We don't know if he has another name. There was an Imperial General character in the Life Dead book that a lot of people think secretly was Snoke. called Gaius Rax. He's this fleet admiral with the First Order, or with the remnants of the Empire, who forms this Shadow Council and becomes this very powerful figure. So a lot of people feel like he might turn out to be Snoke. He has this mysterious name called the Operator, but the whole reason for that is that it's just really hard for somebody who has no association with the Empire or the First Order to roll in and completely take control of everything. We know that Snoke formed a new dark side order, just like the Church of the Force was formed. There's a mysterious character named Tashu, who's a dark side historian that pops up during the Aftermath series. So just like Lor San Tekka during The Force Awakens was this figure who served the Force, you have people who serve the dark side of the Force that we just haven't seen a lot of yet that we'll see during Episode 8. So Snoke using these people and new recruits to form the Knights of Ren has this special new order of dark side Force users. He had an apprentice before Ben Skywalker who's briefly mentioned. You don't know a lot about him, but then he became obsessed with the lineage of Darth Vader, thinking that he would be a focal point in the Force. And the really cool thing about this new dark side order that we learn is that they call themselves Acolytes of the Beyond. The Beyond part means beyond the galaxy as we know it. So if you read the expanded universe, there are things that come from outside the known universe. There's the unknown regions. There are places of space within the Star Wars universe that just haven't been mapped very well. So a little Palpatine backstory. He felt like a lot of his power came from somewhere beyond the galaxy. Now, he believed in the Force in a very broad way, but it's just teasing the idea that we're going to be seeing things from outside the galaxy as we know it. But by all accounts, as powerful a dark side Force user as Snoke is, he was just a normal person that became twisted by the dark side of the Force physically, but is very different from Palpatine in his approach to how the First Order works. Like when the Starkiller base blows up, he doesn't care, he's just very calm. Bring Kylo Ren to me. It's time to finish his training.
The fuel cells have ruptured. The collapse of the planet has begun.
Leave the base at once and come to me with Kylo Ren. It is time to complete his training.
The Emperor was very proud of both Death Stars. He's really big on washing himself of emotion, which is kind of controversial because the dark side is all about embracing that emotion. But a lot of people inside the First Order, as well as Snoke, felt like the Empire was just as responsible for its downfall as the rebels were. There's this really cool quote from Snoke to Kylo Ren as they're talking to each other about the downfall of the Empire and his grandfather, Darth Vader. He says, "It was neither poor strategy nor arrogance that brought down the Empire. You know too well what did." And Kylo Ren nods and says, "Sentiment." Snoke replies, "Yes. Had Lord Vader not succumbed to emotion at the crucial moment, had the father killed the son, the Empire would have prevailed, and there would be no threat of Skywalker's return today." So you learn that Snoke is very worried about Luke Skywalker coming back, probably turning Kylo Ren back to the light side of the Force. But he also teaches Kylo Ren that emotion and sentiment are very bad things. That's why he showed so much concern when Kylo Ren was trying to track down the Millennium Falcon, because he would be facing his father. That would be an extremely sentimental moment. So you can see that his politics, as well as his approach to the dark side of the Force, is very different from the Emperor's. So that's the whole idea. He's still meant to be a very ambiguous character, just so they can continue to explore that in the new movies. But when they say that Snoke is a brand new character, Andy Serkis said this is a character you haven't seen before. It's just a new character that they're weaving into the canon. They haven't explained exactly how old he is, but he has parity with the Emperor. A lot of people felt like going into Episode 7, there were rumors that he would be this ancient person on the edges of the Force. When it was announced that Andy Serkis would be doing motion capture, a lot of people felt like he was going to be some crazy hulking figure, but the hologram just makes him look that big, 25 feet tall. In reality, he's still very tall, more like parity with Darth Vader, who was over 7 feet tall, so very, very tall in his armor, but not quite as tall as Chewbacca. So hopefully that explains a little about Snoke's origins, why he wasn't part of the Emperor's Council, why he's not a character that we've seen before, mostly to keep him mysterious, but they will weave him in once they explain his backstory. Someone from within the Empire who had a lot of political clout was able to build a following and seize control of the First Order in the chaos that was the end of the Empire. The really cool detail, I think, though, is the idea that Princess Leia was aware of him the whole time. So he's not somebody that just came out of nowhere. So that's sort of like a gap in the logic of the franchise right now that they'll sew up once they explain it. So he used to look much more humanoid. They refer to him as being handsome, so you could imagine him looking just like any other person, but he wasn't a human like the Emperor from Naboo. He was alien humanoid. What I'll probably do for one of my next Star Wars bonus videos is talk about the new Force Order that he's trying to create. They call them Force Warriors, not Jedi, not Sith, something completely new in between both of those things. Grey Jedi is probably the best comparison that I could make, but a lot of people have said that Grey Jedi aren't canon anymore, but I will do a video on Grey Jedi nonetheless, just to explain how there are certain Force users that practice ideas that are somewhere between the dark side and the light side of the Force. Like they try to harness everything in a slightly different context to what the Jedi Order taught. There's a whole lot of the mythology that we have to talk about that's going to be really exciting this year, but they'll slowly tease details out as we get new trailers. There's rumors that we'll get teasers before Celebration, but I think the first Episode 8 real trailer will drop at Star Wars Celebration this year. Congratulations to the new Star Wars giveaway winner, A-Train Game. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. There was a new round that started in this video. I'll just announce the winner the next time I post a Star Wars video. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here to learn more about Episode 8, and you can click here to learn more about Luke Skywalker. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you in the next video.